parked in front of the Valley Village. Miriam went in to get a head start. I took Nora in the stroller to the McDonald's across the way. We crossed through the parking lot, past the grocery store. There were posters in the window, pictures of food. "Look at all the fruits, Nora. Wow," I said. Dragon fruit, avocados, bananas. We talked along the way about the blue sky and how the air was changing each day, about how Mummy was picking her some new clothes for the fall. I thought about what Miriam and I had talked about on our walk the day before, about the new medication I was on. I suppose when I was a kid taking amphetamines, I could never tell where I stopped and the drugs began. Any success I had on the drugs gave me the feeling that I was cheating, and I felt the need to reject that. Now that I was taking these antidepressants, that feeling had come back some. It felt juvenile, but not untrue to me. If there was some correlation between everyone on Wellbutrin suddenly writing bestsellers, maybe there was something to it, but that was not the case. It's a clarifying thought. Similar to wealth, when it comes to writing, it isn't really a helpful advantage at the end of the day. There's no pattern between wealth and good writing, as there's no pattern between poverty and good writing. It has a way of transcending class, of balancing the horizon. The barrier of entry is null. It seems to me that there really is nothing that can help except persistence. All of that said, I'm trying to sort out the feeling that I'm compromising my writing with this medication, that I'm separating from my true self. I'm unsure exactly what I mean by that. Maybe it's that me, unbridled, that this world I live in all its glory, somehow feels uninhabitable. But that line of thinking, taken far enough, I think that logic says that a person should be expected to live without food. It says that to consume anything, aside from maybe a mother's milk, is contaminating. Should we then wither away and starve to death? It is like the severity of the state of being sober. After all these years of being sober, it seems like I have an idea of purity that I feel beholden to, an idea that I cannot seem to live up to. The argument that I'm still sober, even on these meds, I'm unsure what I think of that. Even the caffeine that I drink every day, the ibuprofen I take when I have a headache, a lozenge I take for a sore throat, it can be difficult to know where the line is. Miriam was trying to explain to me that I'm the same person, that what the medication is doing is removing the obstacles, so that I can perhaps even be more of myself. What is becoming clear to me is that I don't identify with anything other than what I struggle with. It's a form of workaholism, maybe. I have a strong belief that those obstacles are exactly what a person must face in order to become themselves, but maybe it has come time to find better obstacles, that raising a kid is difficult enough, and that maybe this route of treating my mood through the public health system will inevitably benefit my daughter. Is that sacrifice not worth making for the sake of my daughter and my wife and inevitably myself? The ultimate irony, I said to Miriam, was that it seems in a way that the discipline I learned from being sober, of not smoking, of not drinking, of not doing drugs, now I needed to apply that same discipline to taking one pill, not two or half of one, taking one pill every day when I wake up, and to keep at it even through the discomfort. The buzzing in my head has changed some. It now feels like a persistent headache. I feel like I have a hangover, or that I just worked a week of overnights. I've been dreaming constantly. It feels exhausting. The dreams don't feel meaningful. It's infinite dream content, not a specific image that your conscious specifically selected for your consideration. I've been waking up throughout the night, covered in sweat. My sinuses feel swollen. I keep thinking I'm sick, but then realizing it's likely the side effects of the drug. And when I reach for the depression, it seems like it has become a ghost of itself. And it is strange to feel like how people look like they feel. I'm used to feeling outside of that, but these last few days, I have this renewed sense that maybe I'm not so unlike them. I have to say that editing on this drug has been great. I seem to be able to log into editing mode much more easily. Writing, on the other hand, is not any easier. I feel like I'm writing more coherently, more logically, more in a way that I often feel in defiance of. I feel agreeable, but I have a hard time admitting that these are necessarily good things. I feel like I'm not able to access the nuance of my emotions, that without the despair and the self-loathing that I can't access the intensity, the full gamut of all those feelings. Those feelings which I've suffered with, that have made it so hard to focus, those feelings that feel more authentic to me than anything. I pushed the stroller over the curb into the McDonald's. I looked at the menu. When I was at the other McDonald's before my psychiatry appointment the other week, I'd ordered a medium coffee, but it felt too big. I thought I should order a small this time. But I saw on the big screen that the Monopoly stickers only came with the medium size, and the medium was only $1.25. I thought of how excited Miriam would be if I won something, so I got the medium. The couple in line next to us kept waving and smiling at Nora. She stared at them, her mouth agape. There were boxes of apple pies stacked above the deep fryer. A woman loaded a new roll of receipt paper into the till. Nora noticed some balloons that were pinned up on the wall. She pointed them and smiled and said, "Baloo, Baloo." I took the coffee. "It's hot, Nora, it's hot," I said. I kneeled down and showed her the steam. She knew to blow on it. On her way out, a young guy stepped forward and held the door open for us. I thanked him. He went ahead and held the second door for us. I thanked him again. "Have a wonderful day," he said. "You too," I said. It struck me, in a strange way, that he made a valid point. I noticed, without the heaviness I was used to, that I didn't have an immediate argument against it. I felt like I was in an air pocket. I didn't quite recognize how I felt. I could feel my ego, or my fear, whatever it was, how it tried to find some sadness or anxiety or aversion, but it had been declawed. It was that same side of me that seemed to feel like I was betraying myself. To live a day without my depression, without my anxiety, it felt sacrilegious. Without those things, not that they'd been totally evaporated, but now that the volume had been turned down on them some, it seemed that now my anger and irritation had become more defined, more prevalent. To me, they felt heightened, but Miriam had told me that I was always this irritated and angry. Maybe it was that they weren't clouded by insecurity and doubt like they were used to. I seemed to be more confident in whatever was pissing me off, for better, for worse. Nora seemed content in the stroller, looking up at the sky as we crossed back through the parking lot. I thought about my book, the parts of it that I felt like I needed to write more about. I was concerned that I hadn't written enough about my dad and his illness, that I hadn't really found a way to describe what that had been. I suppose more than anything, what it felt like was denial and confusion and uncertainty. It seemed like this book, more than anything, was about fatherhood as I understood it. I thought about Carl Jung and this idea that in order for a person to be content at the end of the day, that they must believe in something, God or whatever it is. The same conclusion the 12-step program came to. It seems to me that it takes a lot of work to believe in God, a lot of reading and praying and worshiping, and the truth is, I've been busy reading other things, like the comic books I would read growing up when I should have been doing my homework. Hasn't changed much. To look at the question then, in the most direct way possible, if I believe in God, my answer is this: a part of me does, and another part of me doesn't. So kind of, I think, maybe. This book, thinking of what it's been, the amount I feel like I've worked through, the strength I've gathered, and simultaneously how much it has broken me down. I will say that is what I believe in, this process. I peeled off the Monopoly stickers as we approached the Value Village. I got some places on the board, but it seemed like you need to go on the app to do anything with them. And I didn't want to do that, so I put the stickers in my pocket, never to be seen again. "Let's go find Mama," I said to Nora. "Mama, Mama," Nora repeated. She kicked her legs in the stroller. The automatic doors shot open. Nora reached her hand out and touched all the fabrics as we passed through the aisles. We went to the back of the store to the kids section. Miriam was there filling a bag of clothes. I took Nora out of the stroller, and she ran towards her mom.